Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Abby, and I'm joined today by Javier, and we're going to take the next few minutes to walk through the North Line section of the Orange Line Light Rail project. Closed captioning is available in English and Spanish by clicking the CC button on the bottom right of the video window. The Orange Line team has established 8 working groups designed to dive a little deeper into each of the project's 8 sections. Stations serve as the boundaries for these working groups. For the North Line Working Group, the boundaries are North Lamar Transit Center, or NLTC for short, on the south, and Tech Ridge on the north. NLTC is the northern end of the initial investment. You can see this by the change from a solid orange line to a dotted or dashed orange line. As part of the initial investment, Rapid Bus would serve the area between NLTC and Tech Ridge. If you're interested in participating in live working group sessions so that you can ask questions and provide feedback in real time, please visit catmetro.org/get-involved to check out events happening now and to sign up for future working group meetings. After this slide, Javier is going to take over screen sharing and walk you through the engineering schematics for the North Line section. Schematics are a technical tool used by an engineering team to develop the design. Each page has a legend, but you won't really be able to see the legend while we're zoomed in to the project, so we wanted to walk you through what that looks like. I'll review some of the important items. Just noting that this legend is related to the schematics, not the cross sections on this page. We'll talk through the cross sections as well. Starting on the top left, you'll see the SB or southbound and NB or northbound tracks are blue and red solid lines. These tracks stick together, so you'll see them side by side like this throughout. Right below that, you'll see the existing and proposed ROW or right-of-way limit indicated by black and blue dashed lines. This shows you where we might need to allocate additional space for transportation facilities or right-of-way throughout the project. The rest of this side is a little less critical, so we'll move on to the right-hand column. The top seafoam green color indicates an at-grade or street-level guideway. The sky blue indicates retained cut fill. This color is used to show that the guideway is not at street level, but it's also not fully elevated. We use this to show where we are gaining and decreasing elevation as a result of an aerial guideway segment. The orange indicates that a guideway is fully aerial or elevated above street level. This purple indicates that the guideway is underground. We won't actually see that in this section. The hashed rectangles are station platforms, and this is where you'd wait for the train. And the gray you see extensively on the existing roadway is new and improved pavement for vehicle lanes. These last 3 colors, yellow, green, and magenta, represent different types of bicycle and pedestrian facilities. Just below the legend, you'll see that the schematics read south to north, with south on the left and north on the right. We'll also walk through this project from south to north. Finally, on the right-hand side, as well as here on the bottom, you'll see various cross sections for the project in some key areas. While the schematics that we're about to see are designed to show us what the project looks like from above looking down on it, these cross sections help us to understand what the project would look like if we were standing right in the middle of it. Javier will be talking through cross sections in more detail, but I wanted to talk about some shared characteristics. In the North Line area, we're generally proposing full bicycle and pedestrian facilities separated by a tree furniture zone. These areas are in green, indicated on each of the cross sections. We have a varying number of car and bus lanes indicated in gray on each side as the light rail facilities, including the tracks and stations, generally are in the middle of the existing roadway. These are in orange on each of these cross sections. With that, I will turn it over to Javier to share the engineering design plans.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much, Abby. My name, as Abby mentioned, Javier Arguello. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for your time and from learning a little bit more about the Orange Line, and this is what we call now the North Line. I want to start this presentation by giving you a quick frame of reference of the North Line. The North Line is not part of the original funding program. It's a line that is going to be built in the future. Is a line that is going to be financed later on and will not be part of the initial construction of the Orange Line. The North Line is one of the longest segments of the total proposed 20-mile alignment for the Orange Line. It's about 5.7 miles and encompasses major intersections on the north portion of our city. I'm going to start basically giving you reference where we are. This is the vicinity of 183 in North Lamar, and this is actually North Lamar Transit Center Station, and this is the preliminary and temporary terminus station of the initial investment of the Orange Line. Our North Line really begins at the beginning in the vicinity of Powell Street. So now that you have had the opportunity to find your bearings in this plan, I'm going to show you the proposed section of the new infrastructure that we will have in this corridor. As you can see now, we are showing right in the center the proposed light rail infrastructure, which is about 26, 28 feet right away. You also see in this section the existing right-of-way from property line to property line, which is about 100 feet to 130 feet. And then in some areas, the proposed right-of-way to be able to accommodate the existing vehicular lanes, two on each direction, the left turn movements were required, and then the other amenities to make this a complete multimodal corridor with bicycle facilities, landscape areas to enhance the visuals of the corridor, and then enhance pedestrian sidewalks. We will have these improvements on both sides of the corridor, the northbound and the southbound, with the light rail system in the middle. So now that we have seen the section, I'm going to take you to our plan view so that you begin to really see how the design effort is moving forward. This is our initial part, and to help you understand and follow the conversation, the North Line I had divided in 4 segments. Basically, these segments are between the stations, and the first segment is from the North Lamar Transit Center to the Rundberg Station. There are about 5 intersections that will be signalized, and you are seeing those intersections in this image. And now I'm going to zoom in to show you what you need to expect in the future design for this corridor. So this is a good segment to talk about how the infrastructure is going to be put in place, and also to help you understand a little bit better the colors that Abby was referring to in her presentation. The yellow portion of this illustration are the enhancements to pedestrian sidewalks. The violet purple color is indicating enhanced landscape areas and bicycle paths. And then the green, of course, is the enhanced landscape areas. So in the center of our alignment, in the center of the roadway, you will see the soft green color basically indicating the right-of-way of the guideway. And in this way, you can see we have this blue line and the red line that represent the center of the tracks of the alignment. At each intersection, depending on the needs and the traffic analysis, we will be having the opportunity to accommodate U-turns or left turns, depending on the movements that the engineers decide are needed for each intersection. And all of this will be done in coordination with the different entities actually that are providing services in this corridor. The design is being coordinated with the City of Austin, with the Texas Department of Transportation, and of course, with the Transit Partnership and Capital Metro. The next segment in our alignment is really the segment that gets us to the first station in this north alignment. As I mentioned, we continue traveling north on North Lamar, and we do have some specific challenges that are part of the corridor, and currently we are working and find the best solution. But one of those technical challenges, for example, and I'm going to use this is a creek that we will have to redefine and see how the improvements that are being proposed are impacting other codes and regulations. So a lot of design and a lot of coordination is going on to be sure that this infrastructure is built in longevity, and everything that is required in regards to all the different codes, are being addressed, especially with our watershed department for the city of Austin and other flood requirements that improvements have to be addressing. So as you can see, the alignment is pretty consistent. When we have intersections that are not signalized, we still provide enhancements to pedestrians. And we arrive first to our new station, the first station at Rundberg. This station is in the vicinity of a commercial district with having elementary schools nearby. This is part of the multicultural diverse corridor represented by several areas of our community. So it's a pretty important opportunity. In this intersection, we see the station now, which is a split platform station with a northbound station located on the north side of the alignment and the southbound on the south side of the intersection. As I mentioned before, there will be enhancements on sidewalks that will allow us to access the platform. As you can see in the corridor, there is an extensive improvement on the sidewalk. So from the platform, people will be able to actually access a lot of the commercial and business and destinations that are part of this corridor. Moving forward, our next segment is actually from Rundberg to to Breaker Lane Station. And again, in this segment, we have several intersections. The alignment really is pretty consistent in the total right-of-way requirements. What is needed, there is a little bit of movements, but basically everything is in order to accommodate the needs of the intersection and enhancement to sidewalks. This area of the alignment provides access to, a diverse representation of our community. There are several multi-familiar complexes as well in the back of the corridor, single-family residence also. So advanced corridor with the opportunity to generate a lot of ridership for the alignment and provide a lot of service for our community. So as you can see, we continue traveling north. Again, this is a pretty large corridor, and pretty quickly I'm going to show you how the section at the proposed station in this area will work. We have in the center the alignment. We maintain the travel lanes from both directions. We introduce the area for the platform, and we want to maintain again the multimodal purpose corridor, which in this case is the bicycle infrastructure and the pedestrian sidewalks and the landscape infrastructure. Moving to the next corridor, the next sheet in our development, we now arriving to the Breaker Lane area, a very active intersection. This is our second station in our alignment. Similar configuration to the Rundberg station with split platforms, northbound on the north side of the intersection, southbound platform on the southbound of the intersection. And these intersections, as you can see, and I'm going to zoom in, we are accommodating all the traffic movements. But again, we're making emphasis in the safety of the pedestrian movements and a large investment in enhancing the walking surface to be able to connect to the existing business is a priority for the corridor. Again, in the green area, you see the enhancement to bicycles, and the purple, the landscape, and then the sidewalks. All of this in order to create a better environment for our community and be able to connect them. There are several two elementary schools in this intersection. There are other businesses. This is part of a very strong cultural representation in our community. So the North Line will be providing connectivity to all of these different destinations. Continue on the alignment, as you can see in the plan view, the section is pretty much consistent. Again, several signalized intersections, but always maintaining 2 travel lanes going on the north direction and 2 travel lanes in the south direction. Again, the corridor is key for very important destinations in this area of the community. And we want to be sure that the sidewalk infrastructure is adequate to allow the connectivity and the bicycle movement throughout the corridor. We have other areas that are technically a little bit challenging. This is the area of the Walnut Creek, and where the engineers and the design is advancing. Again, just like the Little Walnut Creek, a lot of coordination is being done to be sure the flood regulations are being observed, and that the infrastructure that is being built and improvements that are being done to this creek crossing, are built for longevity, and the infrastructure is used for many years. Moving to the next sheet, in our design, now we're getting in the vicinity of the Palmer Station, which is the third inline station on this segment. I'm moving a little bit backwards, but this is where we ended in our previous sheet. And as you can see, the section is pretty consistent. Again, the alignment is traveling in the center of the corridor. And again, when we need to provide specific movements in the intersections, we're doing that. Again, this is an example of a signalized intersection. And when we are providing a U-turn, as you know, many of the intersections that are secondary, we will not be able to cross in the opposite direction. And that's the reason, because we are accommodating in some of the intersections U-turn movements to basically facilitate the changing in the opposite direction for the community that is trying to get to different destinations. So the flexibility of the corridor will continue to be there. Here is another example of an intersection with a U movement. And here we have a left turn to get to the secondary axis. So many aspects of the design are being incorporated. Traffic is one of those, and we want to be sure that pedestrian movements are safe and the infrastructure is adequate, as well the vehicular circulation, and of course the train movements. We continue traveling north, and we get to the third station, which is the Palmer Station. Very busy intersection from the traffic movement, but again, very important commercial district. This station will be serving important destinations like the Taiwan T1 Temple, which is not too far from the Walnut Creek. And as you can see, the sidewalk improvements will allow us to create that connectivity, not only with the pedestrian movement, but also with our bicycle facilities, in order to get the right infrastructure so that our community can actually arrive to these important destinations. Again, we have a split platform in the North Palmer intersection. This is our Palmer Station with the northbound platform in the north side of the intersection and the southbound on the south side of the intersection. Again, we're providing a lot of traffic movements in this area, but as you can see, we're putting emphasis on the pedestrian access to the station that is happening through these islands, and every pedestrian movement will be signalized and protected so that pedestrians can safely cross in each direction of the station, in each direction of the intersection, in order to access actually the platforms. Moving forward, getting almost to the end of the corridor, the North Lamar section of the street again remains pretty consistent with what the corridor is forecasting to have. And I'm moving now to the final sheet, and we have design element here that is new in this corridor, and we introduce it to you for the first time in this sheet. The alignment will continue traveling in the center of the corridor, but in the vicinity, almost a quarter mile before getting into the intersection with I-35 in the vicinity of the Marquis Apartments, we are actually elevating the guideway to take us into an aerial configuration. The light blue color that you see here indicates that the alignment will be transitioning for being at grade into a retaining wall in order to get the elevation and to become an aerial alignment. You can see the North Lamar travel lanes will be going underneath the alignment. And at this point, the alignment is actually an elevated viaduct going over the two travel lanes of North Lamar in the north direction, and actually taking a turn going in the CarMax facility, over the CarMax facility. And you can see here that proposed, and that is the solution that we have today that we are looking at in order to help us cross I-35 and get us to the North Tech Ridge Park and Ride facility. We will be arriving, and in this area, we will have our terminus station, which right now at 50% design is being contemplated as an aerial station, but it will be connected to the existing Tech Ridge Park and Ride facility. This will become a major multimodal hub for our city in the north part of the city. And with that, transferring the presentation. This is the end of the corridor, and if you have any questions, we are here to answer all those questions. Thanks, you, Abby. Back to you.
Thanks, Javier. Thank you for all of you for joining us to review the North Line section of the Orange Line Light Rail project. Please take a moment to complete the questions below and tell us what you think about the project's design in this area, including strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. To learn more about what the plans look like south of here, check out the North Lamar video. And please visit our Get Involved page at capmetro.org/get-involved to find out how to stay involved with the Project Connect program as this design progresses. Thank you.